guys, welcome back to Divine Phoenix. I'm Destiny, and I decided to start doing a series of episodes. Well, the first series that I'm going to do is different types of witchcraft, and today is episode 1, and we're talking about Wicca. I decided to start with Wicca because Wicca is the most commonly practiced religion today. It's more talked about than other types of witchcraft, and it's more common to practice today and in the modern day. What is Wicca? Wicca to most is a religion. To some, it's just a practice. To me, I'm an eclectic witch, so I do different types of witchcraft and make them into my own. But Wicca is my primary source. Wicca is what I started with because I didn't know where else to start and it was just recommended. So Wicca is what I started with, and it's my main source of magic. It's like my main thing that I practice around. Honoring my god and goddess, reading a lot, meditate. I do the Sabbats. So Wicca is a freedom of thought. It's worship nature, like you worship nature. It's about peace and free will to do what you want as long as you bring love into the world and positivity into the world. Anyone can start practicing Wicca. You don't have to be born in the religion. That would make you a hereditary witch, to be honest. You don't have to be born in the religion. You don't have to be like baptized or anything like that. You can just start it whenever you want. I always recommend new witches and new practicing witches to do your research before you actually start practicing something. This is something I learned the hard way. I wanted to do spells right away and I did it. My first spell did work, but then after that I felt very disconnected with magic, and I feel like it's because I didn't do a lot of research before I started casting spells or started doing the tarot or started connecting with spirits and whatnot. So anyone can start practicing it. There are no hard rules except to bring positive energy into the world, accept the law of karma, to honor and respect our planet, and to appreciate all that it has to offer. So to encourage love. So Wicca is really positive. You bring love into the world. We don't worship the devil. That's not what we believe in. If that's what you believe in and you want to do that and mix Wicca with it, that's fine. But most Wiccans that I know do not worship the devil. They don't believe in the devil. They believe in the goddess. Some, like me, believe in the god and goddess. The horned god, Sonunus, the Celtic god, I chose him because I can relate to him more. And the horned god, he kind of reminds me, like, he's a stag, so he reminds me of my spirit guide, which is a deer. I worship Ceridwen, who is the so you can choose your god and goddess to follow. You can choose the Celtic ones like I did. You can choose the Norse ones. You can choose the regular Wiccan ones. You can choose your pan god if you want. It's really up to you. You don't have to actually follow specific rules. Most practitioners of Wicca, you will see, are kind, have a good sense of humor, are very loving, and they have a very mystical view or outlook of the world. They're very friendly and they love nature. Most Wiccans are vegetarian or even vegan. Most have a good sense of humor to relate to the universe, or they're very outgoing. They are very energetic and positive in their belief. They have high beliefs and they know what they stand for. So they accept the Wiccan Rede, which sums up the ethics of Wicca. They celebrate the Sabbats, worship deities, work with spirits, do a lot of divination work. They relate to the moon, and they do a lot of moon magic under the moon. That's what I started doing lately, is worshiping the moon and to do moon magic. There's actually a sacred text along, like besides the Wiccan Rede, there's a sacred text for the charge of the goddess, charge of the god, and drawing down the moon. Drawing down the moon is like, it's usually on a full moon, where at the time that the full moon is full, like if you have an astrology app, it'll say, you know, what time it actually completed being full. They will chant the drawing down the moon sacred text and do a whole ritual for the moon, cast whatever spell they want to do on that full moon, etc. They don't always do it on the full moon. The full moon is about positivity and just like releasing old negative stuff. So that's why they mostly do a lot of stuff on the full moon, is because it's very positive. The new moon, they would also do stuff for the new moon because it means beginnings, releasing old baggage, letting go. So new moon and full moon are very, very popular to practice under. Practitioners of Wicca mostly cast spells for money, for wealth, love, and sex magic. Spells are only a small part of this practice, of course, but those are the main things that Wiccans cast spells for, because a lot of Wiccans are business oriented, or they want money, you know, or they have their own business because they're very crafty. So they're like, hey, I can make money with this. So they would do a money spell for their business, or, you know, do money spells to help with little things that they need, crafts that they need, you know, etc. So love spells because they're very loving, and sometimes they just want that soulmate or their twin flame, and they would cast a love spell. Sex magic because they're very exotic, I guess. But those are the spells that they mostly do. But there are other spells that you can do. You don't have to just do those spells. You want to do a spell for peace and love, go ahead. You want to do a spell for calming down or getting rid of anxiety, go for it. I honestly recommend this book. I think I've showed it in my previous video, but I recommend this book because it has a lot of money spells, love spells, sex spells, warding off anxiety spells. So this is a very good book, and it also has corresponding herbs and corresponding spells and whatnot with the moon phase. It has spells for the signs in the full moons, like full moon in Scorpio, they have a spell for that. This full moon in Capricorn, they have a spell for that. So so those are just mainly the spells that most Wiccans do, but again, you don't have to be bound to just those spells. You can do whatever spells you want. You can also craft your own spells. I craft a lot of my own spells. I have this as my spell book, and it's written in runes, but I have this as my spell book, and most of them that are in here are my own spells that I've just crafted right off the bat, because I was like, hey, I need money, and I didn't have a spell book at the time, so I just, you know, I was like, okay, well, what relates to money? Okay, green aventurine, okay, what else relates to money? And just anything that related to money I would put in. And now I have another money spell that I also crafted for the 23rd, and I have loose change that I'll use for the spell. I have rose quartz that I'll use for the spell, clear quartz, green aventurine. You know, I work really well with crystals. So, you know, crafting your own spells is okay as long as you put the corresponding herbs and crystals or candles, or, you know, anything that's going to be in your spell, put them as corresponding. That way it actually makes your spell happen. You can't put stuff from a love spell into a money spell if it doesn't correspond with the money. For example, roses. I mean, surely you could put roses in a money spell, but you have to know what the purpose is for that money spell. For example, if you put roses in there and expect to get love out of your money or meet a lover as you have your money, that's not going to really work. So you would want to, have a rose quartz instead. Put the rose quartz in the spell, as, I want the money to come from a loving place and not just from a random negative place. So you just got to make sure that your spell corresponds with what you want if you're crafting your own spell. In Wicca, a lot of divination is involved. Runestones, crystals, tarot cards, wax scrying, sage scrying or smoke scrying, um, tea leaf reading. A lot of divination is involved because we all want to know something. When we practice Wicca, we want to know what the god and goddess are trying to tell us or what the universe wants to tell us. So we're going to do a lot of divination. Me, I use tarot cards for my own benefit. I want to read my cards and I want to use them for something I'm having trouble with. Like, okay, what should I focus on today? Or I'm really struggling. What should I focus on in this month? How can I get out of this stress bubble that I've created for myself? And the tarot cards help really well with what I need to know. Another video about tarot, it would be coming up sometime in the future, but that's just what I'm saying, is that a lot of Wiccans do practice divination, working, and whatnot because all of us want to know something. Nobody likes the unknown. We all want to know, you know. Not a lot of practitioners of Wicca are solitary. Not everyone is in a coven. You can be solitary, you can be in a coven, you can do what you want. You don't have to be bound by a group, you don't have to be solo, it's completely up to you. Wicca is about freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of practice, freedom to do and practice what you want. That's why it's the most commonly used today. Some practitioners of Wicca work with spirits. I personally don't too often, but I have realized that some spirits are trying to get me to listen to them or trying to get my attention, but I've had bad experiences in the past. I'm not ready. I'm just not ready to work with them yet. Like I mentioned, we practice the Sabbats, we meditate, we have altars. Our altars usually correspond with the current season or with the spell we want to perform or with what we're supposed to focus on for the month. Like my previous video of monthly ahead tarot spread, I do that because I want to know what I should focus on in the month so I can be more open and aware of what to do or what to focus on, what to plan. And then, if I wanted to, I would create an altar that represented my whole month, and I would do something at my altar space for that whole month that related to what I was supposed to focus on for that month. So, some of us would do that. Some of us would just do the altars to honor our god and goddess or just our deities or whatever we want to work with. Some altars would represent our past loved ones. Excuse me. If you have a cat or a dog and they've just passed, some altars would represent that cat or dog. Some of us would make an altar that represented ourself or our higher self, and we would honor ourself because self-love comes first. You can't love others without self-love. Even though you give out love into the world and whatnot, you have to remember to love yourself as well. And I always tell people, love yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself first, you're giving all that love to other people, then you have nothing left for yourself at the end. So what you need to do is just love yourself first, so you have all that love to give to the rest of the people in the world. So that's just my belief. I do believe in self-love, and it has been hard for me to love myself throughout my whole journey, but so far my journey or on my path, I've, come to terms with who I am and what I believe in, what I stand for. I'm finally starting to love myself more and more every day. So it has been a tough task, but, Everybody has their trauma and everybody takes time with what they need to accomplish. So, um, self-love is like it's probably something that I would start doing for an altar is create an altar for myself so I can, see my version of me or see my higher self and just go with that. So that's an idea. So we have different types of altars. We don't have to have like, if you want an altar for everything that you do, like you want an altar to write your journals at, you want an altar, like you want your altar to be where you write your journals, where you practice your tarot cards, where you cast your spells all in one place, that's fine. The only limit is you. Your altar doesn't matter what size it is. It can be really big, it can be really small, it can be even a shoebox. It doesn't matter. It's all up to you and what you have and what you want. Me, I'm very materialistic, if you can tell. I like not just me loving jewelry, but I always have a bunch of crystals. My altar is a big desk, and I have a small little table under my desk for other stuff, and then I have a small table beside my desk with a shelf on top. Most of my stuff that I have on my altar are aesthetic purposes, like this bowl. Yeah, my sage wand is in it, but this bowl is just for aesthetic purposes. It's not a sage bowl, it's just for decoration. I know that might sound weird, but when things are cheap, that's what you want to do. So you don't have to have a big fancy altar. It's all up to you and what you want. If you want a fancy altar, go for it. If you want a furry altar, go for it. If you want, just a simple plain altar, go for it. If you don't want an altar, that's okay. You don't need one. It's all up to you. Practitioners of Wicca is to eat healthy, breathe healthy, be healthy. Meditate to clear our headspace. I just meditated for 10 minutes this morning. And before I was like, no, I'm not going to meditate. What the hell? I didn't think that meditating was essential for my craft. I didn't think that it was important. But recently, these past couple days, and I'm being honest with you, these past couple days, after I meditate for 10 minutes in the morning, because I don't like the guided meditations. I find it annoying. I'm very musical. I'm a singer. I'm a music lover, so I just wanted the music. I didn't want a guided meditation. And I found one. I found a very beautiful one. Like meditations with piano or guitar in it. That's what I usually go for, and it really cleared my headspace, and I just felt really, really great afterwards. I felt refreshed. I felt clear. I felt like I just ate celery or I just ate goodness of the world. I know I said celery, that was weird, but I just felt really, really great afterwards. I can't explain it. It just felt like my whole body regenerated with goodness or with clarity, I guess. So meditation is really good. If it's not your thing, you don't have to meditate, but I recommend trying it at least once or trying it multiple times with different types of meditation, and you might find something that you really like. It's completely up to you. So we also do yoga. I personally don't because I am lazy. I am a Taurus, so I'm very, very lazy. I don't do yoga. Sometimes I work out, sometimes I don't. I think one of the most reasons I don't do yoga is because I don't know where to begin and I don't want to stretch a muscle the wrong way. I would rather a trainer and not just looking at a screen and thinking that I can do it. So I don't do yoga, but if you want to do yoga or if you already do yoga, awesome for you. Another thing we do is we eat healthy, we breathe healthy, we are healthy. I have a very big problem with this. As I said, I'm a Taurus. I love food, and mostly junk food. So what I'm trying to do is stay healthy and be healthy because eating junk food and not eating properly does cause a lot of problems. For me, I've run into a lack of fiber problem and was put on Metamucil to help increase my fiber intake. And, it caused a lot of bowel problems, a lot of stomach pain, lack of sleep. I have insomnia. So if you don't sleep properly, then you're not gonna be healthy. That's part of being healthy, is sleeping properly. And if you have an insomnia, you need to go see your doctor and get, a sleeping pill or get it fixed, because insomnia is extremely terrible. So, yeah. So we eat healthy, breathe healthy. Now that I covered most of the basis of Wicca, I want you to really think about what your practice is, what you want to do for your line of magic, or what you want to do in your craft. Do you want to try out Wicca? Do you want to research more about Wicca? I recommend getting this book. Some people would say, oh, don't get that book, that doesn't really do anything. This covers a lot about what Wiccans do. I've talked to a lot of Wiccans, and they haven't even read this book, but they do a lot of the things that this book says to do or to try. They, like for instance, the incense that are in here, a lot of the Wiccans that I've met have those incense or use those incense. A lot of the spells, like this doesn't have any spells, but a lot of the spell ideas or the topics are in here, and I just recommend getting this book or reading about it. You can get it on Amazon. I got this at Spencer's, but it's a really, really good book, and it's worth the read because it teaches you a lot that most internet doesn't. The internet can be good for a lot of research, but at the same time, it's not 100% true or 100% awesome. Books are more relevant than the internet, and they teach you a lot more. But if you're an internet person and you want to go for the internet rather than a book, that's okay. I'm just saying they don't always cover the topics that you need to listen to or that you need to learn, etc. So I recommend getting this book. It's called Wikipedia by Sean Robbins and Leanna Greenaway. If I forgot to mention anything, please let me know, and I will do another video related to this, or a sub video for this, like season 1 episode 1A or something. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will respond as quickly as I can, or you can email me at emaildivinephoenix@gmail.com. emaildivinephoenix@gmail.com. You can also go onto Instagram, message me at Divine Phoenix or Magical Divine Phoenix. You can also visit my Facebook and message me there, or follow my Facebook page, which would be really, really awesome. So let me know if you have any questions or suggestions, or if I forgot to touch base with anything. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you have a blessed day, night, evening, or wherever you are. Blessed be.